members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining again this year Greece's annual press conference at World Travel Market. This afternoon, the Minister of Tourism, Έλενα Κουντουρά, will give you an overview of the most recent developments from Greece in travel and tourism. She will also give you an update of the Ministry's planning for the years ahead. Now, following the Minister, we are very delighted. I can't stress strongly enough how deeply honored we feel to welcome a special guest, very special indeed. She's an author. She will give you a snapshot into the diversity of the country that Greece is. She will also give you an account of her personal experience while traveling extensively across the country and writing the captivating book, The Island, to nisi in Greek. It strikes a chord, doesn't it? Through her travels in Greece's seas and rugged mainland, literally from corner to corner, Victoria reveals and showcases through her books a country as diverse as very few others, and in part, to a great extent, I could say, and this is not an overstatement, still undiscovered. May I have your attention on this now, ladies and gentlemen? We're not going to hold a Q&A session this afternoon from the stage, but if you do have any questions for any of other speakers, you're more than welcome to approach them and talk to them, either them or any other of the representatives from Greece, while you enjoy a glass of wine and the canapés that will be served just as soon as the speakers part of this conference is over. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to watch a newly produced GNTO video.
Hi, I'm Yannis Antetokounmpo. Visit my beautiful country, Greece. For your vacation, it has to be Greece.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to present the Minister for Tourism, Mrs. Έλενα Κουντουρά.
Καλώς ήρθατε. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We are here for the fourth year to update you on the latest development in Greek tourism, and I would like also to begin with a small assessment of what we have achieved so far. It has been 4 years of continuous and steady tourism growth with historical records, a performance beyond every expectation, and 2018 is the best year for Greece's tourism. Our government placed tourism high on its agenda. We were the first government to recognize the tourism value in our national effort for growth and as the driving force for the whole Greek economy. for progress and prosperity, and for the well-being of our people. As the core of tourism policy since 2015 was to achieve sustainable tourism growth and established Greece as a 365-day destination, a goal now becoming a reality. Since 2015, we really faced a lot of adverse conditions, political negotiations, a harsh adjustment program, geopolitical challenges, and a lot of different issues that they affect whole Europe, as well as the very sudden events concerning safety and security in the wider area. By implementing our tourism policy, we overcame all challenges one by one and created a strong momentum for Greek tourism growth, the strongest in its history. We achieved 33% increase in inbound tourism in the last 4 years, with historical records each year in arrivals and revenue and all tourism figures. 2017, we broke the barrier of 30 million international arrivals, including cruises. We braced for a new record in 2018. We expect to exceed our target of more than 32 million arrivals by the end of the year, followed by double-digit growth also in revenue. Air arrivals increased by more than 12% by September. Almost 2 more million air seats were added for 2018, reflecting the strong demand for Greece, and is the strongest ever. We made central agreements with major tour operators and airlines to increase our national tourism shares by 10% each year by expanding packages and flights to Greece. We extended the traditional summer season from March to November, enhanced tourism in the winter, and arrivals have now increased by more than 30% in these winter months. We introduced new Greek destinations beyond the popular ones and promoted new thematic tourism products, focusing on the authentic travel experiences each Greek region and each destination offers. It was our strategy choice to have a stronger presence in our traditional markets in Europe, but at the same time to open up new dynamic markets and increase our shares from the Middle East to United States, to Russia, China, India, and also other Asian markets, long-haul markets where now we expand. And we created a friendlier business environment and attracted new investments on high added value. More than 350 projects were submitted in the last 3 years for 4 or 5-star hotels and resorts, creating for 2018 more than 26,000 beds. 1 out of 2 investments in our development law is for tourism. We established a framework with less bureaucracy, more incentives, and faster procedure in licensing and in all steps of new investments. To this end, we have completed the first ever in Greece project of codification and digitalization of our tourism legislature of 100 years, providing to business and investors easy access to all the information that they need. Major international hotels chains, travel groups, and foreign investors focus on all the opportunities that they arise in Greece, provide in tourism and also in real estate. Now, as the most attractive business development opportunity in the Med and Europe. Many of them whom we invite have already announced their plans to enter in the Greek market or expand their portfolio with new hotel investments, some already from this year and others for 2019 and over the next years. Tourism emerged as a huge export earner. The tourism growth we mobilize is reflected not only in the tourism sector's increases turnover and profits, but also has supported other productive sectors of our economy, such as retail, transportation, agriculture, construction, and of course, real estate. Travel and tourism accounts today about 20% of Greece GDP, generating yearly more than 35 billion euros to the Greek economy. International visitors spending reached 17.1 billion euros in 2017, more than 28.5% of our total exports, and it's expected to grow further, more by the end of 2018. Unemployment in Greece decreased by 8% in the last 4 years, at 19% when you're thinking 3 years ago was 27% and a half. Almost 1 million jobs are linked to tourism in Greece, about 25% of our total employment, and more than 330,000 new jobs are expected to be created in the next 10 years. The results we achieved in travel and tourism have a very positive impact in our economy, which is projected to grow by 2.1% in 2018 and 2.5% in 2019, the highest rate of growth in the last decade. Our successful tourism policy has been recognized by the United Nations World Tourism Organization, the World Travel for Tourism Council, and other global institutions and agencies that they have published, commented on our efforts and showcase country. They said, actually, we did a small miracle for our economy and all the best practices in tourism, and we actually had a great crisis destination management and achieving these high rates for growth against all odds. It was also our strategy choice to strengthen our constitutional role in global decision-making centers for tourism. For the first time, now we're elected as a member of the UNWTO Executive Council and participate actively in the global policies to address challenges and shape the future of travel and tourism. We have established very close cooperation with OECD, and we were recently elected as Vice Chair for 2019 in its Tourism Committee. The General Secretary of Tourism Development, Mr. George Yalas. We also pursue to work closely with World Travel and Tourism Council, PATA, and all major travel and tourism groups. We build stronger and solid relation with the global travel industry. We participate in big global fora and host also in Greece international huge conferences. The Greek National Tourism Organization, as our national body for our marketing strategy abroad, has a dynamic plan of co-ops, advertising, farm trips, press trips, very strong presence like this here in WTM, and in 50 international travel shows and exhibitions in traditional media, but also in digital media and platforms to promote and our beautiful country. In this new era that has begun for Greece and the Greek economy, now with everything we have achieved in tourism, our goal is to maintain this strong momentum and grow even more. We have a growth plan already for the next day in tourism, so we can respond to the increasing demand to enrich our offering in high-quality infrastructure and service and make our tourism product even more competitive in the global travel market. We prepare to launch special programs to increase capacity and upgrade the quality of 4 and 5 stars hotels and resorts, also to attract new investments in health and wellness, golf, MICE, sports, and recreation thematic parks. As one of the top 3 European cruise destinations, our target is to develop more than 6 new home ports for cruises, as well as a network of large, medium-sized marinas. We cooperate with major international and European cruise lines to introduce new destinations and thematic products, combine cruises with land-based travel experience. We negotiate to increase the offering of packages throughout the year and new direct flights to be launched from more foreign airports to more Greek destinations, because connectivity is the key for tourism growth. Our plans include specific programs for open business 365 days a year in Greek destinations, ready to support them throughout the year, as well as programs for specializing training for our sector's workforce in thematic products and services. Tourism education is our priority. We modernize our public tourism education system to continuously upgrade the quality of services and meet the high demand for specialized jobs in the growing hospitality industry. Greece is the most diverse complex of islands in Europe and in the Med, with more than 100 destinations and unlimited choices for tailor-made experiences that we now promote. We aim to introduce new dynamic packages in large and popular islands combined with smaller satellite islands. We also work closely with other countries to promote global initiatives such as the Silk Road Tourism Project, for which we recently hosted UNWTO 8th International High-Level Meeting, the first in a European country, and well as for other thematic routes and joint packages for long-haul markets such as for cultural tourism. Our enormous history and culture is our biggest asset. Greece is the birthplace of democracy, of the Olympic Games, and the authentic marathon of philosophy, art, science, the homeland of Socrates, Plato, Aristoteles, and Hippocrates, father of modern medicine. Greece is an open museum, home to 18 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, a country of archaeological sites and monuments with global appeal of myths and legends, with a lovely traditional and of course with so many choices for contemporary culture festivals and events year-round. We have already launched 2 programs of more than 500 million euros for the overall upgrade and modernization of small tourism business and the creation of new ones. And we support not only strategic investments, but new thematic tourism products based on the authentic experience, which is the mega trends, and the expansion of businesses in sectors such as agritourism, traditional guest houses run by small and family businesses, boutique hotels, for more personalized experience to our visitors across Greece. The next big thing for tourism is digital transformation and innovation. In line with the global trends and challenges, we apply policies and have launched co-founded EU programs for businesses, especially small and medium-sized, in offering high-quality services as well as their digital transformation. We support startups in providing solutions to make travel easier and upgrade the experience each travel gains. We are creating a new digital ecosystem for tourism to upgrade services to businesses and citizens, but also to our visitors. Our official GNTO site, Visit Greece, is being upgraded, enriched in content through smart technologies, and will be able to have 10 different languages, providing all the information to our visitors before, during, and after their trip to Greece. We promote all our strong assets and Greece's wide offering for unforgettable vacation that can satisfy even the most demanding visitors. We are here in WTM to discuss the new opportunities that arise with tour operators, specialists and airlines, and expanding the programs and packages for 2019 and for the next years. The UK market is for us top priority. Bookings were up about 10% higher in 2018 compared to 2017. In the 9 months of 2018, air arrivals from UK to Athens and all Greek airports were up by almost 9% and exceeded 3.2 million tourists. Given the opportunity, I would like to thank our UK holiday makers for choosing Greece as one of the top 2 choices to travel to Greece, and also for voting Greece in prestigious annual travel awards as their most wanted family holidays destination worldwide for 2018, top global destination, and for the first place that the Greek islands have in their heart. We expect this strong dynamic from the UK will continue for 2019, and we're here to meet with travel professionals for the new opportunities for 2019 and beyond. Greece is a top choice for travel year-round with so much to explore, experience and enjoy. Tourism is a powerful engine for growth and the biggest investment in Greece's future. Thank you so much.
Dear Minister, thank you. Thank you so much for this speech full of useful information, markers, facts. And above all, thank you for this strong and unequivocal message. Greece is top choice. Greece is here. Greece is back with a vengeance. Now, the name of our special guest, the whole name, Victoria Hislop. Victoria Hislop studied English literature at Oxford University, and afterwards she worked in publishing, book publishing, PR, and journalism. Inspired by a visit to Spinalonga, the abandoned Greek leprosy colony, Victoria wrote The Island in 2005. She was named Newcomer of the Year at British Book Awards. The novel became an international bestseller with over 5 million copies sold worldwide. And it was turned to a 26-part Greek TV series, which has recently been aired for the 3rd time on Mega Channel. Imagine, the final episode achieved a record 75% audience rating, and the series was also broadcast in Croatia and Finland. In her 3rd novel, The Thread, Victoria returned to Greece to tell the extraordinary and turbulent story of Thessaloniki and its people across the 20th century. Published in 2011 to widespread acclaim, The Thread confirmed Victoria's reputation as an inspirational, a captivating storyteller, and was shortlisted for British Book Awards. The Thread is currently in development with a Greek TV production company. The Thread was followed by her much-admired collection of Greek-set short stories, The Last Dance and Other Stories, the title. Carte Postale from Greece, which is a first work of fully color illustrated fiction, went straight to #1 in the UK chart on paperback publication in 2017 and held this position for, 5 weeks. it has already been translated into 10 languages and was shortlisted for the British Book Awards Fiction Title of the Year. Victoria's books are translated into more than 35 languages and have been bestsellers in China, Greece, Israel, France, Norway, and the UK. She has won several literary awards in France. As well as studying the Greek language, well, if my notes are accurate, her ultimate ambition is to read everything and anything without ever resorting to a dictionary by her side. Well, I have to admit, you have to admit, Victoria, this is a high-flying ambition, especially when it comes to Greece. Imagine that I've been learning English for over 50 years now, and I'm still struggling. Well, I'm sure you will achieve it, judging by the passion you have. She spends her spare time reading, going to the theater and cinema, playing tennis, and traveling. Victoria divides her time between the UK and Greece, where she has a home in Crete. Victoria is married to broadcaster and journalist Ian Hislop, and they have a daughter and a son, both in their 20s. Well, my mind is full of questions. I would be very excited to ask those questions, but I'm afraid the format doesn't allow me. The main question that pops up into my mind is how can a romance for a country last for so long? This is a lifelong, a long-standing relationship. And usually relationships, long-standing relationships, suffer setbacks, frustration, disappointment. I'm tempted to ask if you had any such kind of feelings with Greece. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get serious now. I'm delighted, deeply honored to welcome to the stage Mrs. Victoria Hislop. Victoria.
I'm going to start with a very short quiz. There's no big prize, except let's say the prize is a glass of wine with me on the stand afterwards. So the quiz is entitled Guess This Place. And this happened just over a week ago, at the end of October. It's a place I was visiting in Greece, and these are the things that I did during the course of one single day. The only clue is that it's an island. I walked for a few hours across a spectacular landscape on an ancient footpath, and I followed that with a visit to a fortified town where Roman pillars and marble baths still stand outside in the streets, as they have done for 2,000 years. And then afterwards I popped into the museum, packed with 4,000-year-old antiquities. I should say that the ticket was €2, which seemed ridiculously low. And the exhibits included a marble bowl from the early Cycladic period, undamaged, absolutely whole, 3,000 years BC. Then I fitted in a swim, and I dried off on a long, golden, sandy beach, and I was pretty much all on my own. And before lunch, I fitted in a site visit at a very newly excavated Mycenaean town. And then I had my lunch. Now, lunch was on a beach, and my feet were in the sand. And I had fresh squid, followed by slow-cooked goat, and then a salad with fresh Mizithra cheese, which is that white, soft, beautiful, almost sweet cheese. And it went very well with fresh capers and tomatoes. And to finish it off, the restaurateur bought me a plate of refido keftedes, which are little fritters made with chickpeas. They were stunning. And of course there was the chilled white wine, delicious fruit. I'm sure everyone here who's been to Greece knows that there's no such thing as a dessert menu in Greece. They just bring you something. It was heaven, and not the best thing by any means, but again has to be mentioned. The bill for 2 people was 35 euros, which is about £15 a head, and it was gourmet food. And we sat there for hours looking at the sunset, eating these unbelievable, wonderful delicacies. Then the day hadn't finished. On the way home, I stopped at a ceramics workshop where the potter, like his father and probably generations before him, had worked with clay dug from his own land. In this particular island, there are very rich veins of clay, and it's a huge part of the island's tradition. And of course there I did some shopping and bought some beautiful handmade mugs and plates. Yorgos, the potter, explained all his techniques. He had time, he was friendly, he was smiling. And of course the other thing, and this is going to give the final clue to anyone who knows Greece even better than me, I bought one of the distinctive flaros, which is a beautiful ceramic chimney top which you can put on top of a chimney to protect your house from rain. So where was I? I was in an island. I think I heard somebody say it was Sifnos, glass of wine. Absolutely, first with a hand up. Now Sifnos is a tiny island, a population of around 2,000 people, 75 square kilometres approximately. But like all the Cycladic islands, it is totally unique. It has things there that you won't find anywhere else in the whole world. And unspoiled is a word that doesn't even begin to do its beauty and its simplicity any justice. One of the really crucial things that really intrigued me about Sifnos was that it was the birthplace of the Greek equivalent of Mrs. Beeton, or let's say in more contemporary terms, their Jamie Oliver, who was a chef called Nicholas Selimentes, and he apparently is found in every Greek kitchen. His book is the Bible for Greek cuisine. So it was wonderful to find myself there. And again, as I mentioned, something that particularly thrilled me and is very quintessentially Greek was to find myself in this fortified town where there were Roman pillars and old Roman baths literally standing in the street. They were integrated into the town. They weren't in museums. We were walking side by side with these things of really great antiquity. I won't do a similar quiz for every island that I visited this summer. I'm researching a book at the moment that's going to be set in the Cyclades. So it's been let's call it my job this summer, but what nice work, to visit about a dozen islands in the Aegean. Seriphos, Folegandros, Ios, Andros, Kymelos, Tinos, Syros, Koufonisi, Milos, Delos, and many more. And I've had the pleasure of visiting them within the space of, let's say, 6 months, and really appreciating and loving the difference between each and every one. As a writer, I'm always looking for the unique characteristics of a place, and even the tiniest Greek island doesn't disappoint. Because Greece is not one destination. It is many destinations, and it can be all things to all tourists and all ages. My first visit to Greece was in the 1970s, and I think I appreciated that even then. I went on a holiday when I was 16 with my mother, and we went first of all to Athens, and then we went to Paros. So even then I could see that there was a country which had great cities and which also had places on a very small scale. And my memory particularly of Paros was the size of the shells, which you could fit about 10 onto your thumbnail. The country cast its spell on me 40 years ago, and I've been going every year since then. From the time when I was backpacking sleeping on the beach, and literally living on watermelon and tomatoes to make the budget last. And now in the present day, I stay in grown-up hotels with proper beds. And I also have a home in Crete. I should declare an interest in Crete particularly, for which I have a very passionate love. It's near Ios Nikolaos, near Ilunda. Almost all of my fictional writing has been set in Greece. And as I say, this is my work, to travel, to research, and every single day of doing so is exciting and pleasurable. I'm trying to think what the low points have been, whether I've ever had a sort of crack in the love affair. I might come to that later. Another opportunity for my travel has been to promote the Greek language editions of my books. And I always challenge my Greek friends by asking them if they've visited certain places. And I think I have actually visited probably more towns, cities and villages than the average Greek person now. I've been travelling right to the east to Alexandroupoli, to Paraga in the west, right down to Kalamata, to Drama, Ceres, Xanthi, all absolutely fascinating towns. And the mountains in northern Greece, of course, are the most extraordinary hiking territory. And then down in the east, nobody can really talk about Greece without mentioning Halkidiki. I mean, we all have images of the islands, but Halkidiki is a paradise on the mainland. On a personal level, I enjoy everything that Greece has to offer, from active ways like hiking, swimming. I'm particularly fanatical about water skiing, to more cultural pursuits such as museums, and enjoying the thriving art and music scene, both the contemporary and the more traditional kinds of music. It's all there waiting for a music enthusiast. But I do also enjoy the very hedonistic side of Greece. The minister mentioned important words like democracy, demokratia, very important word, we all know. But for me, a really important word in Greece is hedonism. Of course, the Greeks invented that important word. And I'm more than willing, I've described my busy day of going to museums and walking and eating and drinking lovely wine. But I do love to lie on a beach. And Greece offers today a range of beaches that I don't think any other country in Europe or perhaps in the world can offer you. And also a range of prices. Now in Crete, 5 minutes from where I live, we have a lovely municipal beach. And a sun lounger there costs €1.50 and the umbrella €2. It's a bargain. I mean, compared with somewhere like the south of France, if we're allowed to mention rival countries. But also this summer I've been to Mykonos, and very happily I went to probably the most glamorous beach club, perhaps in the whole world, the Namos Beach Club. And I picked up the menu. I was there to treat myself. I thought this is a day for hedonism. And I picked up the menu, and there on the wine list was a Methuselah of champagne for €120,000. And anyone who wants to see the evidence, I took a photo on my phone. Even in the name of research, I didn't order it. I thought that would be a bit extravagant and my publisher wouldn't meet the expenses. But I did have a couple of glasses of chilled Moët, and it was delicious. I really felt that I had gone to heaven. And the Moët was reasonable. It was about €30 a glass, which is the same as any bar in London. So you can go for a cheap day out in Greece or a very expensive one. I must talk briefly about Crete, because people always want to know about my relationship with Crete, which began and really sort of exploded when I started to write my book, The Island. And in fact, island really isn't the right word for Crete. It's more like a little country or even a world. It has mountains, plateaus, gorges. It's wonderful for walking, for archaeology. It has perhaps some of the best Minoan sites that there are: Knossos, the Palace of Malia, and then of course my personal favourite, not Minoan by any means, but Spinalonga, which has such an interesting modern history. And currently we've applied, and I'm very involved with this, we've applied for UNESCO World Heritage status for Spinalonga. And finally on Crete, because I could talk about it all day, the new archaeological museum in Heraklion, reopened a couple of years ago, is probably my favourite museum in the entire world. It tells the story of Greek history, Cretan in particular, but it has some of the greatest archaeological treasures that anyone will find anywhere. And Greece is not, some of the images that come up when people talk about Greek food, a lot of people have the wrong impression of Greek food. My impression of Greek food, again, that it is always fresh, always adventurous, and gives you tastes that you're surprised by. And in Greece, nobody talks about organic food. Of course, most of it's organic. If you have ever eaten horta, which are the wild greens picked from the mountains, they're naturally organic. No one is going to put a sort of fancy symbol on the menu. It just goes without saying. And the meat that you often eat in restaurant is going to be from someone's small holding. And again, organic's not really a word that needs to be used. A little bit back to hedonism, one of the really, even since I've been going to Greece, the quality of wine in Greece has entirely changed beyond recognition. And particularly in Crete now, when I travel in the central part of Crete, you see vineyards just going on as far as the eye can see, and these thriving wineries are beginning to be recognised all around the world as producing some exceptionally fine wines. Olive oil goes without saying. Greek olive oil is the best, and that's the souvenir that everybody brings home. Culturally, one always thinks perhaps of things marble, stone, but actually the richness of culture in Greece extends to the traditions. The best example really in the year is Greek Easter, which is a wonderful time to visit and very much a highlight of my own year. It's a spiritual, and it's a visual, and it's a musical feast, as well as being gastronomic, a period of the year when you taste things that you wouldn't taste in other parts of the year. And of course in the spring, this is the time when you should go walking in Greece. The wildflowers are just sensational wherever you go. And really a much better time in spring to go somewhere like Delphi or Olympia, because you can walk around and not feel you're going to kind of melt in the heat. So spring, summer, autumn, the attractions are obvious, but winter is the best time, in my view, and I've done this a huge amount, for going to Athens and Thessaloniki, because again, you can enjoy them in a way that when it's 30 or 40 degrees might be a little bit oppressive. So everyone's familiar, I think, with the ancient heart of Athens, but perhaps a place that a lot of tourists overlook is Thessaloniki. It was one of the most successful multicultural cities in Europe, with its mixture of Christians, Jews and Muslims, almost equal numbers of the three. And within a 20-year period in the 20th century, the Muslims and the Jews had to leave. And I'm particularly close to that story because I spent 3 years researching it for the thread. But a visitor will be fascinated by the story of that city and how they can see the layers of what happened and what took place in the streets in front of them. When I'm writing or when I'm on holiday, although I never know whether I'm researching on holiday or enjoying myself, they all seem to melt into one. I aim to get beneath the surface of a place. I want to see the authentic villages, I want to go to the taverna where local people eat, and even join a Saints' Day celebration. Now these things are open to everybody. I found that the Greeks have been, obviously philoxenia, hospitality, is one of the key words in their dictionary, but they welcome outsiders to come and learn the dance at one of their glendies, which is an evening which begins at about 7 and can go on till 7 the following morning, and they'll teach you the steps of a dance. They'll share the food that everyone's eating, and you're not ever made to feel like an outsider. Greece embraces every visitor, and there's a myth, the myth of Zeus, where they believe that a deity might come to the door in disguise. And I think that's why, if, as a foreigner, which I am, in Greece, I'm usually treated like maybe I'm a deity. They're not sure, because a deity will be in disguise. And it's for that reason that you get treated so specially, just in case. I was just going to mention something that the Greek National Tourist Organisation, we're hoping in the near future to be working together on the adaptation of some of my short stories into short films. It's in the early stages, but I'm working with a scriptwriter to turn those into little films, and we're already recceing out in Crete to find the locations. And these films will introduce people to perhaps a different side of Greece, a slightly more authentic, beneath the surface picture of this wonderful country. I could stand here all day. Everyone knows that there's hospitality on the Greek stand. So thank you for listening, and you can find me over there to answer any questions about Sifnos, Serifos, Delos that you like, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. Είμαι στο World Travel Market σήμερα και πάρα πολύ ευτυχισμένη και με μεγάλη τιμή να μιλήσω για την Ελλάδα, για την αγάπη μου για την Ελλάδα και να περιγράψω πόσο πλούσιο είναι για ένα τουρίστα, γιατί έχει πάρα πολλούς ανθρώπους που δεν έχουν ταξιδέψει όπως μένα. Και έχω μιλήσει πολύ για τους Κυκλάδες, για την Αθήνα, για την Θεσσαλονίκη, για την Κρήτη, για παντού. Και ελπίζω σε ένα χρόνο, στα επόμενα χρόνια, πιο πολλοί άνθρωποι θα έχουν την ευκαιρία, την επιτυχία να ταξιδέψουν όπως εγώ.